Good evening, everyone. Everyone looks so nice. My name is Lindsay Ruck, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the first Nova Scotia Book Awards ceremony. We should clap. Yeah. We are gathered in Kjipuktuk, part of Mi'kma'ki, the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. We recognize the peace and friendship treaties signed between the British Crown and the Mi'kmaq from 1760 to 1769. We are a treaty people, and we have rights and responsibilities as Mi'kmaq and settlers alike. We are privileged to have a new poet, singer-songwriter, and English professor, Raymond Sewell, here to perform a traditional welcome. Please welcome Raymond.
My name's Raymond Sewell. Very happy to be here tonight for this event and to sing a welcoming song. I like to say I grew up in a musical. Where I'm from, everyone sings at the start of every Maui Donut or every kind of gathering you could imagine. So to bring that and share that in the spirit of reconciliation is very important. Tonight I'm going to sing the Eagle Honor song in honor of all the good work that people are doing. So stand if you're able to, and it's fine if you don't. So. Walaliak is so golaliak sit no gumado gijiksru al sudamaya get a beggy young. Yo ho yo ho yo hane. Yo ho yo ho yo hane. Hey musiki skuka na meda winto bejigin wadu ye gitbuna bejigin wadu ye gitbuna yo ho yo ho yo hane yo ho yo ho yo hane hey musiki skuk ana meda Gikto guaxin ke gitbuna Gikto guaxin ke gitbuna Yo ho yo ho yo hane Yo ho yo ho yo hane Hey musiki skuka na medawinto Megi wulali e kitbuna Megi wulali e kitbuna Yo ho yo ho yo hane Yo ho yo ho yo hane Hey musiki skuka na medawinto Megi wulali e kitbuna Megi wulali e kitbuna Taho. Thank you.
Wilalin Raymond. Tonight, we'll be presenting 5 awards for books by Nova Scotian authors. These awards are some of the oldest literary awards in Canada. The Evelyn Richardson Nonfiction Award was first presented in 1978, and the Dartmouth Book Awards were established in 1988. For the past 13 years, these awards, which are open only to Nova Scotian authors, were presented annually as part of the Atlantic Book Awards. Meanwhile, our sister provinces of New Brunswick, PEI, and Newfoundland and Labrador have had separate events for their provincial book awards. So now it's our turn, and it was decided that Nova Scotia should also have its own event to shine a spotlight on the awards available only to authors in this province. Tonight is the first time for what will be an annual event, and we're very happy to have a full house, shout out to the people standing at the back, for this special celebration. We're also happy to be sharing the excitement with an online audience through a live stream. I don't know where the camera is, but everyone give a wave to the live stream people. There we go. Make them feel like they're a part of it. Perfect. The Provincial Department of Communities, Culture, Tourism, and Heritage also saw the value in having a dedicated event to celebrate the cultural richness of this province and has become a significant government partner in the endeavor. Here to bring greetings on behalf of the province is the Honourable Steve Craig, Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture.
Well, thank you very much for that kind introduction, and to everybody here, good evening. My name is Steve Craig, and thank you very much for the land acknowledgement as well as the welcoming here too. I'd also like to acknowledge that for over 400 years, those of African descent have contributed greatly to this province. So it's my pleasure to join you here on behalf of my friend and colleague, the Honourable Pat Dunn, who is the Minister of Community, Cultures, Tourism, and Heritage. The written word has the power to share ideas, memories, stories, events, and other aspects of human experience, whether through fiction or nonfiction. It allows us readers to learn more about where we come from and deepen our imagination while temporarily escaping our realities. And this is in thanks to you, the authors. Atlantic Canada is home to many authors. In my own community, I have Meryl Boudreau, who has written about Almadam, Petit de Gras, and the sailors there, the ships, the seafaring and sailings and the story of Almadam. And I was there just the other day. And I mentioned Meryl, who's a neighbor of mine, and the people I was meeting with said, oh yes, we know Meryl, and his house is right down there, and this is what he wrote about, and we're so happy that he has written about our community. And Meryl has a trilogy of books. And also, too, in my community of Lower Sackville, we had Bob Harvey, Councillor Bob Harvey, who has written about the historic Sackvilles. If you're not aware of them, I'd encourage you to sort of look up all these books. And I have to tell you, nonfiction is my genre, historic nonfiction. And politics, as you can imagine, I'm going to be purchasing Stephen Kimber's book later, as well as Don Oliver's, and I hope you're both around to say kind words about me in the purchase of your book. Thank you. Government is committing to taking a proactive approach, ensuring strong, healthy, and vibrant communities. This commitment is reflected in the recently launched Nova Scotia Publishers Assistance Fund, which provides $1 million in annual support to provincial publishers to help grow their businesses and to share our stories and the work of Nova Scotia authors within the world. From advancing cultural diversity to promoting creativity and innovation, we are determined to support our creators and further grow our creative economy. And I cannot stress enough the important contributions that Nova Scotian authors have made to the province. As I stand here, I'm looking at my former colleague, Mayor Mike Savage. Mike and I have shared many times here in Halifax, and right now I'm looking at him and I'm getting the look saying, okay, Steve, don't steal my thunder. And Mayor, I would never do that. Certainly a great mayor here in Nova Scotia and in Halifax, and one I've had the great pleasure of working with for 6.5 years before moving, as the mayor would say, down to provincial politics. He came up from federal politics, so it's only fair. I want to take a moment to congratulate tonight's nominees and winners, and I wish you continued success for many years to come, and thank you, all Nova Scotian authors, for continuing to share your talents with us. Thank you, and please enjoy this evening's celebration. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. We're also very grateful to have partnered with Support for Culture for this new annual event. And we have a quick video clip that we'd like to play you to tell you a bit more about Support for Culture.
I think the impact of art is so vast. Being able to connect with the mind and experience of someone else through words just makes the world so much bigger and so much deeper. It's hard for me to fully express what a difference Support for Culture has made. Art is something we want to make sure is continuing to tell our stories. Because Nova Scotia Gaming has Support for Culture, we're enabling that story to travel that much farther.
We have a very special event planned for you this evening. We're launching a brand new award, which I'm very excited about. And we've also invited past winners of the pre-existing awards to present the outstanding authors shortlisted this year and to announce the winners. So following each award announcement and brief remarks from the winner, we also get to enjoy a short excerpt from the winning title, read by one of two actors, Terrelyn Taylor and Gary Williams. Gary also played piano for us at the beginning, and he'll also be playing after the presentation. So, deep breath. Let's do this. We are starting with the two awards that acknowledge an author's first book. They are named for Margaret and John Savage. Tonight we are in the Halifax Hall as the guests of Mayor Mike Savage, so thanks for having us, Margaret and John's son. It was Dr. John Savage, the former mayor of Dartmouth, who established the Dartmouth Book Awards in 1988. So I will now invite Mayor Savage to come up and say a few words.
Thank you very much, Lindsay, one of my favorite authors. Wrote a great book, many of you would know, Against the Wind, against the Calvin Rock. What was it? Seeds of Change. Seeds of Change. No. Winds of Change. Wind, seeds, the seeds blow in the wind. The story of her grandfather, Calvin Rock, who was a really remarkable Nova Scotian. And then she also wrote a book about our father, who art in heaven. John's Against the Grain.
Okay, that one.
That guy. I remember that one. It is wonderful to welcome you to City Hall and Old Halifax Hall. We're very pleased to welcome you here tonight. It's a great old room to have an event. I told somebody we tried to get the ceilings elevated a bit more for the event, but it was too expensive, so you have to take it as it is. It's an honor for us to be here, and it's wonderful for me to be here. I also want to acknowledge the land acknowledgement of both Lindsay and of Steve. And I want to draw your attention to the room beside this, which I've asked them to open up tonight. This is the Downey Wenjack room, which is something that was started by Gord Downey of the Tragically Hip. Cheney Wenjack was a young boy who died running away from a residential school. And they put together a foundation called the Downey Wenjack Foundation. And to have a room designated, you make a contribution to reconciliation financial, but you also commit to, when you're in that room, that we talk about reconciliation. And there's some Mi'kmaq artifacts, and I encourage you to have a look on your way through. It's an awesome to be here. Books in our house were a big deal. So I'm delighted to see Sheila, who's worked very hard on this, my sister Sheila, who's done a great job, my oldest sister, Sheila, as well as Patrick and Bridget, and really excited that John and Margaret's granddaughter, who is getting an award from the Lieutenant Governor tomorrow, is also here with us tonight. Wonderful to see here. See, books were a big deal for us growing up. We were told they had to be in our house. At Easter time, when everybody else dove into candy, the 7 Savage kids shared a small hollow chocolate egg, but we all got a book. We all got a book. Because my mother was my father was the second best person I ever knew. My mother was the best. She was a remarkable person, but they believed in reading, and they believed in writing, and they believed in encouraging it. Even though sometimes those Easter books had hidden messages, like the one I got one year on how to apply yourself to your studies. That was my Easter gift. I expect Sheila got one on how to be a better big sister. Patrick probably got one about slow down and enjoy life, and Bridget probably got one, something along the lines of being the baby of the family is a great privilege, don't blow it. I was there in 1989. The first Dartmouth started in 88. I think the first awards were in 1989. My father had called me up. He said, "Do you think reading is good?" I said, "Sure." He said, "Do you think it's good to encourage kids?" "Yep." He said, "You're sponsoring the Student Writing Awards." So I was with Kennard Oil Company then, and every year we gave an award for student writing in grades 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 9, to encourage kids to write. It was a wonderful idea. In 2003, the Writing Awards fell on the same day as my father was buried. And Sheila and I, sitting around after the funeral, decided that we should go to the Dartmouth Book and Writing Awards, and it just seemed very kind of healing for us. It was at Alderney Landing, and it was very special. So writing's always meant a lot to us. Writing's, and the celebration of writing was something my father wanted to do. Through these awards, he also bought the Peter Zosky Tournaments for Literacy to Nova Scotia in 1992, and I can always remember the awards. I haven't missed too many of them. And I'm really pleased to have them back here. The Nova Scotia Book Awards, coming out of the Dartmouth Book Awards, the Atlantic. It really doesn't matter where books come from, but it is nice to celebrate great Nova Scotian writing. So I know that we're all very pleased to be here. I'm very happy to host you here tonight. Judging by the way people are fanning, I'm going to go out and see if I can get some air conditioning into this room. But I hope you enjoy it. To the people who organized this, thank you very much, including Devin in my office, who worked with Sheila and others on this. And Devin is about to have a baby. She may have had it today. I have no idea, but she put a lot of work into this, so I'll thank her personally. All of you, and particularly those who were nominated, whether you win or not, for being here tonight and celebrating each other's great writing. The world needs more writers, and we need to celebrate writing. Thank you very much. Wallaliak.
Thank you very much, Mayor Savage. The Margaret and John Savage First Book Award for Nonfiction will be presented by the winner of last year's award, Gary Leeson. Gary is a writer, a retired auctioneer, and farmer from the Annapolis Valley. Since writing his award-winning book, The Dome Chronicles, he has written a novel called Secret of the Spring, and its sequel, Dan Johnson's Ashes, which is currently with its publisher. Please welcome Gary.
The nominees for the 2022 Margaret and John Savage First Book Award Nonfiction are Joanne Gallant for A Womb in the Shape of a Heart, My Story of Miscarriage and Motherhood by Nimbus Publishing. Susan MacLeod for Dying for Attention, a graphic memoir of nursing home care from Conundrum Press. And Don Oliver for A Matter of Equality, the life's work of Senator Don Oliver, also published by Nimbus. About Joanne Gallant's book, the jurors wrote, A Womb in the Shape of a Heart is a sweeping, emotional retelling of one woman's experience of miscarriage, motherhood, and all of the moments between. Gallant weaves an intricate tale from first desiring to have a child to navigating the seemingly insurmountable waves of grief for her and her family's loss, to learning how to cope with and face the reality of her situation. This book is a valuable commentary on grief, especially in the context of miscarriage, which has historically been carried as a silent burden. A highly recommended read for everyone. Whether they are a mother or not, the raw power with which she shares her story is truly masterful. Now, about Susan MacLeod's book, the jury said, Dying for Attention is a funny, heartfelt look into one's family experience navigating the inner workings of Nova Scotia's long-term care system. Recounted in the style of a graphic memoir, MacLeod's retelling of the hoops that she had to jump through to achieve acceptable care for her aging mother while negotiating a fraught relationship with her only sibling And raising her own family is an honest look into an experience that many people currently are or will soon be facing. In a province with an aging population, elder care is a hot-button topic, and this story sheds light on the ways in which the system is failing those who don't have adamant advocates. A worthwhile, engaging read for both young and old. And about a matter of equality, the jury wrote, with forewords from Brian Mulrooney and George Eliot Clark, Don Oliver's memoir is a Canadian politics who's who, with a critical lens on racism. Oliver served as a senator from 1990 to 2013 and was the first Black man to sit in the Senate. Despite all of the powerful and trailblazing work Oliver did, this reads as a cozy chat, with Oliver relaying the events of his life with gratitude and wonder. A vital memoir for anyone interested in Canadian politics. Could we have a drum roll, please? Thank you. And now, for the winner of the 2022 Margaret and John Savage First Book Award nonfiction is... Oh, there it is. Oh, you had to seal this up. Oh, this is very interesting. Oh, my goodness. Oh. Joanne Gallant. Is she coming up?
Oh, wow. Sorry if I cry. I'm not really sure what to say except deepest gratitude for Nimbus for taking a chance on a book about a topic that society doesn't tend to talk about. We're often meant to be kept silent about the things that I've endured, and Nimbus really said yes. They were my first yes, and I'm so appreciative. Especially to Whitney Moran. You're here. I don't know where you are. I want to wait. Hi, Whit. Whitney Moran was with me through the process of what I went through, as well as editing of this book, and I could not have gone through it without you, or gone through the process of writing and publishing this book without you. She's the editor of my dreams. I feel like I have so many other people to thank. Brianna Corr-Scott for the very beautiful cover she did. She did original painting for this book, and she captured both the grief and the joy that I've experienced in my journey to motherhood. I want to thank my family. I think my son's watching at home right now. So hi, Teddy. He's being babysat by my parents right now, so hopefully you're in your jammies. And lastly, I need to thank my husband, and I'll get very emotional. Joey's the most incredible person I know, and he was so open to me writing about our family, and it's as much his story as it is mine. And so thank you for loving me and caring for me during all of this. I love you. Thank you.
The first award, and I'm already holding back tears, so thank you for that, Joanne. Whew. Okay, we are delighted to have Tara Lynn Taylor here to read an excerpt for us now. Tara is an actress, singer, playwright, filmmaker, and multidisciplinary artist, so please welcome Tara.
Congratulations, Joanne. You just made me too weak, and I hope I do your book justice, because that was very touching. I'm having coffee with a coworker. And we're talking about a woman whose infant tragically died at birth, a stillbirth. She detailed her experience in a beautiful essay, and we were both moved when we read it, which led to a discussion about the pain so many mothers bear. I would rather have a miscarriage than a stillbirth, my coworker tells me, pouring milk into her coffee. We are at a popular cafe, sitting at a wooden table, a small vase of pink carnations between us. Her spoon clinks inside the mug as the black coffee turns the color of the oak table beneath it. I wonder if she knows my history. And I decide that she must not, since she has so casually tossed those hurtful words my way. I smile and reassure her that I too would choose a miscarriage in that scenario of awful selections. I would also choose no miscarriages over 5. We aren't given the choice of when or how our lives may careen off the path we have envisioned for ourselves. It has been 5 months since my last miscarriage. There are days I look at the scars on my stomach or notice my ever-looming would-be due date, and I wonder, when did I become this woman? A woman who knows such sadness. The days when I am struck by grief are becoming fewer, and the way in which I need to accommodate my heartache is becoming less intrusive as the months wane. Time does not heal all, but the intensity of grief, the way you feel like your world has completely tipped on its axis, lessens. I'm learning to live alongside my pain, trying hard to accept the woman I am today. I know I could have always suffered more, as my coworker so eloquently pointed out, but that does not mean that I have the right, I have lost my right to feel sad. I understand how lucky I am. I have my son. Why can't I both be grateful and sad? Why do I need to prove my pain is worthy because what I lost is, quite literally, so small? I'm grateful and I am also sad. I don't think one cancels the other. They coexist like 2 sides of a coin. The physical scars from my first miscarriage are mostly gone, unless you know exactly what to look for. I sometimes place my fingernail over their small crescent shapes and push into them slightly, trying to feel for any semblance of pain. The pain of losing those babies feels like it should have killed me. Like a cartoon anvil landing on my head, but I stand, wobbling back into my previous form, and it appears to most like nothing ever happened. Without my glasses, I can't see my scars either, but I can find each one easily with my fingertips, as though I am reading Braille. I wonder why I feel so changed inside when on the outside I look so similar to my previous self. It is several weeks since I lost my first pregnancy, and my body has not yet received the message that my babies are gone. At each of my follow-up appointments, my doctor is baffled by the pregnancy hormone that continues to show up on every test they perform. It's as though my body is unable to let go. Hope lingers in my blood as it fills my body with longing for what it once held.
Wow. That was beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Tara, and congratulations again, Joanne, for sharing your story. And thank you, Gary, for presenting. Here to present the Margaret and John Savage First Book Award for Fiction is Nicola Davison, who won this award in 2019 for her debut novel, In the Wake. Nicola just released her second novel, which I can't wait to read, Decoding Doc Gray, a few weeks ago. So please welcome Nicola.
Good to know where that is. The nominees for the 2022 Margaret and John Savage First Book Award for Fiction are Alexandra Harrington for The Last Time I Saw Her, published by Nimbus. C.S. Porter for Beneath Her Skin, also published by Nimbus. And Colin Sweets Arsenault for Short Mercy, published by Pottersfield Press. Writing about The Last Time I Saw Her by Alexandra Harrington. One reviewer said, this riveting debut young adult novel is set in rural Nova Scotia and pits friends and family against each other after a tragic accident leaves behind shattered relationships and shocking secrets. The jury called it an excellent read and impressive first novel. They said, the setting of the story is described so well, it brings the reader right to early summer in River John. One jury member said they found it hard to put the book down, and they're looking forward to seeing what this author produces next. Is it still on? Yeah. About Beneath Her Skin, the jury said, like the best mystery writers, C.S. Porter understands that an intriguing plot is only part of a story's success. Character and place are equally as important as the puzzle at its core. A bizarre murder provides a great start, but it's Porter's gift for crafting intriguing characters within a vividly realized rural maritime community that helps Beneath Her Skin transcend the genre, becoming both a terrific mystery and a top-notch police procedural. Better yet, the author leaves the reader hungry for further Kess Morris mysteries, a hallmark of all great mystery series. As for Short Mercy, the jury called it a delight. They went on to say, with humor, compassion, and insight, Colin Sweets Arsenault follows the unlikely duo of a teenage troublemaker and a defeated writer, from used bookstores to dingy diners, dilapidated banks to getaway cars. A tangible joy in language makes this debut shine. Arsenault's sentences bounce and bound giddily along, taking us on a gleeful ride through small-town Atlantic Canada and all its attendant idiosyncrasies. A buoyant, unforgettable trip. And the winner of the 2022 Margaret and John Savage First Book Award for Fiction is Colin Sweets Arsenault, Short Mercy, Pottersfield Press.
I didn't prepare any remarks, which speaks to my expectations. Congratulations to my fellow nominees. I'm tremendously honored to be in the same conversation as brilliant writers, remarkable creators such as them. I want to thank Pottersfield Press, Leslie Choice, who made my dream come true, Peggy Amaro, and Julia Swan, who helped me make the book a lot better. Becky Tucker, who helped me make the book a lot better. She read it first. She gave me notes. She also agreed to marry me next Saturday. I'm at a loss for words. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wow, big week. That's exciting. Okay. Like Tara, Gary Williams is multi-talented, a musician, composer, director, and teacher, as well as an actor. We're happy to have him here to read an excerpt for us now.
W.J. Morrissey almost surely didn't exist. Or, perhaps like other wondrous figures of myth, a man who called himself W.J. had once existed, but the communal development of his story had been so patchworked over the ages, there was no way to tell what was and wasn't true. Per the buzz, he was a classic outlaw, a sort of northern Jesse James for the modern age, known for two traits above all else: evasiveness and clemency. The reputation was born in '78, when every major bank on Cape Breton Island was robbed within 18 hours by a man in a black mask. The name was derived from a piece of cardstock recovered at one of the crime scenes, which was imprinted with the letters W.J. in crisp Smith Corona typeface. To commit a crime of that scale on an island of all places was bold, but the assailant's style is what caught the public's attention. By the robbery of the fifth bank, the RCMP presumed to have detected a geographical pattern and lined the Cabot Trail with squad vehicles. By the 12th bank, they realized there was in fact no pattern, and that the bandit appeared to be popping up in an entirely arbitrary sequence. So, all teller banks on Cape Breton were ordered to lock their doors. By the time the doors were locked, all but one bank had been robbed, and W.J. just so happened to be inside that bank already. He tossed a sack on his shoulder and walked casually, like a guerrilla Santa Claus, toward the locked door where he kindly asked the security guard to unlatch it for him. The guard glared at the featureless black fabric and weighed the threat of his club against that of the not yet raised beretta on the crook's left hand, and, in a moment, reached to unlock the door and slid it open manually. W.J. walked outside and was gone again. His calm demeanor and the fact he was never met with resistance became the heart of the story. Witnesses spoke of how they never even felt especially frightened. He'd scarcely addressed anyone directly. He'd used his manners. His gun never went off. He'd managed to single-handedly commit the grand theft of $180,000 without ever having to provoke fear, force, or fatality. It was his positive trait for which the horrific incident became known: his mercy.
Thank you, Gary and Nicola, and congratulations again, Colin. Okay, quick poll for the people standing. Raise your hand if you're regretting your choice of footwear. No? Just me. Okay, awesome. All right, very excited about this next award. It is brand new, and it was created by the Dartmouth Book Awards Committee. In a room full of literary lovers, we are no doubt all aware of the power of the written word and the impact our words can have on readers. The George Borden Writing for Change Award was created to honor those books and writers that challenge the status quo and strive to put a spotlight on groups and individuals who are oftentimes pushed to the margins. Mr. George Borden dedicated his life to do just that. George was a captain in the Royal Canadian Air Force and the director of the Black United Front and the Black Cultural Centre of Nova Scotia. He was also a historian and a writer who used his craft to educate, celebrate, and inspire. I had the absolute pleasure of working on a few different projects with George to honor the men of the No. 2 Black Construction Battalion, and I was incredibly amazed and inspired to see just how determined he was to make sure their legacy was not lost. And we are so pleased to have George's family here with us this evening to help us honor George's legacy and to hand out the first George Borden Writing for Change Award. George's son, Tab Borden, is a graduate of Dalhousie University and began his career working in the Canadian banking industry. As a Canadian diplomat, Tab has represented Canada in a number of locations and was head of security at the consulate while posted in Minneapolis during the George Floyd protests. Tab is now retired and lives in Bedford with his wife, Darlene. Please welcome Tab Borden.
And we color coordinated earlier. The nominees for the George Borden Writing for Change Award are Glenn Canning with Susan McClellan for My Daughter, Rehtaeh Parsons, published by Goose Lane Editions. Stephen Kimber for Alexa, Changing the Face of Canadian Politics, also published by Goose Lane. And Don Oliver for A Matter of Equality, the life's work of Senator Don Oliver, published by Nimbless Publishing. A jury member described My Daughter, Rehtaeh Parsons, as a heartbreaking but compelling read that I could not put down, no matter how hard I was crying. A story and book that will truly change perspectives and lives and leave the reader with hope. And the jury described Alexa, Changing the Face of Canadian Politics, as a wonderfully written yet shocking window to what the first woman to lead a major political party in Canada went through to break the gender barrier for those who came after her. And A Matter of Equality, the jury wrote, Don Oliver, with humility and grace, describes all of his accomplishments in Canadian politics, despite all of the racial barriers he encountered along the way. A great read about a brave pioneer. And the award goes to Glenn Canning with Susan McClellan, My Daughter, Rehtaeh Parsons, publisher, Goose Lane Editions.
Glenn Canning now lives in Toronto, so he was unable to join us this evening, but he did send this message for me to share. Thank you for offering me the opportunity to express how honored I am to receive the George Borden Writing for Change Award. It has a special meaning to me to know a tragic story can inspire others to stand against injustice and commit to making our communities a safer place for all. Writing such an intimate book on Rehtaeh's life was heartbreaking, but it also allowed me to recall so many memories I'd long forgotten. Writing was, for me, healing. I would also like to congratulate the other nominees. To be named alongside some of Atlantic Canada's most influential writers is humbling, to say the least. Again, thank you, and I wish you peace. Glenn.
When my daughter, Rehtaeh Parsons, whom we all called Ray, died by suicide on April 7, 2013, I had at least a partial answer to the question, why? 17 months earlier, at the age of 15, she had attended a small party with 4 boys around her age. They were boys she thought she could trust, who went to her school and who knew her friends, including the girl who introduced her to them. Rehtaeh left that house the following day believing she had been sexually assaulted after a confusing and nightmarish night. Ray's death was accompanied by a media frenzy uncharacteristic of the small Nova Scotia suburb where she lived. That was thanks in large part to a Facebook post Ray's mother, Leah, posted when our daughter was dying in the hospital, which brought first local and soon national and global attention to our family. There was also, of course, the famous photograph taken on the night of her encounter with those boys. It depicts Ray hanging out the window after having thrown up, with a boy up against her, grinning and giving a thumbs up to the camera. Both were naked from the waist down. It had been broadcast across social media and beyond, but rather than a source of shame for the boys, it became one for her. Circulated until her death, it resulted in endless bullying and threats to her physical safety, particularly from other girls. It was not only the events of that night that led to Ray's death, but the ostracism that followed and the compounding failures of our criminal justice, mental health, and school systems to support her as she needed. This book is not about sexual assault exactly, though it is in part. Nor is this book entirely about the institutional failures that let Ray down. It is, more than anything else, about a culture that has normalized and accepted gender violence. This book is partly about my awakening to understand how I too lived much of my life under the sway of a toxic, dysfunctional masculinity. It is about how men and women and boys and girls suffer due to it, and a patriarchal society that enables it. This book is about Ray, but it's also about how all of us, hopefully, may begin putting ourselves back together.
Thank you, Gary. And I don't know if Glenn is watching this evening, but thank you, Glenn, for having the courage and the strength to write those words. The Dartmouth Book Award for Fiction is named in honor of Robert Robbie Archibald Robertson. When he passed away in 2010, this community leader was the longest-serving member of the Dartmouth Kiwanis Club, who sponsors the award in his memory. Here to present the Robbie Robertson Dartmouth Book Award for Fiction is an author who was well acquainted with this award. Carol Bruneau's first book, published in 1995, was nominated for the Dartmouth Book Award for Fiction. She went on to win the award in 2001 for her novel Purple for Sky, and again in 2019 for A Circle on the Surface. Nicely done. Please welcome Carol.
Well, this award is very dear to my heart, as you can imagine. The nominees for the Robbie Robertson, I'm short, sorry, shorter there, thank you, sorry. The nominees for the 2022 Robbie Robertson Dartmouth Book Award for Fiction are Hannah Moscovitch for Sexual Misconduct of the Middle Classes, published by Playwrights Canada Press. Sharon Robart-Johnson for Jude and Diana, published by Fernwood Publishing, and Colin Sweet's Arsenault for Short Mercy, published by Pottersfield Press. Here's what the jury said about the three shortlisted books. Hannah Moscovitch's Sexual Misconduct of the Middle Classes is embroiled in a complex sense of discomfort, navigating the relationship between a well-known author and educator and his astute student. The play is a powerful and poetic examination of a situation that is both at the same time complicated and almost painfully familiar. There is no tidy resolution to the play. Instead, readers are offered moments of pause and consideration from both sides, as well as an acute use of humor that cuts to the quick of a tumultuous situation. The questions at the heart of the play are both timeless and deeply contemporary, asking readers to step back and consider their own understanding of sex, power, seduction, truth, and the aftermath of transgression. In Sharon Robart-Johnson's Jude and Diana, which is based on archival research, readers are offered a realistic portrayal of slavery in the 1800s, right here in our own hometowns. Robart-Johnson conjures a startling portrait of dignity and defiance in the face of horrific injustice. The voices of both Jude and Diana are rendered in a straightforward, engaging manner, shining with bravery, yet leaving judgment or outrage to the reader. With the authenticity of their voices, Robart-Johnson shows a mastery of nuance, proficient in her storytelling ability. Jude and Diana makes a compelling contribution to our understanding of race relations in our region's history. Short Mercy is an impressively confident debut from Colin Sweet's Arsenault, an Elmore Leonard-esque tale of crime and an unexpected friendship. The writing style rings out from the page with the comfort of a pro, precise yet freewheeling, believable yet larger than life. Short Mercy tells the tale of a used bookstore owner stirred out of his own malaise in the aftermath of a robbery, teaming up with a mischievous teen to find a near mythical figure. While hijinks ensue, the characters are developed beyond their archetypes, and we get a peek into the way word travels in the gossipy small towns of the East Coast. This is the book for anyone who has ever wondered what it would be like if the Coen brothers set one of their comedic crime capers in Atlantic Canada. And the winner of the 2022 Robbie Robertson Dartmouth Book Award for Fiction, sponsored by the Kiwanis Club of Dartmouth, is Sharon Robart-Johnson for Jude and Diana. And I forgot to add that this is published by Fernwood. I was so excited.
This is one place I never expected to be. When I first started, found Jude's information, I became obsessed with her story because she was murdered by a family in Yarmouth County. And I want to thank Fernwood for taking a chance on my manuscript, which I submitted 3 times to them. And when I first received the email telling me that I was nominated, I said I was a winner then. Just being nominated made me a winner. But I couldn't believe it, and I forwarded it off to my editor and asked if it was for real. But I want to thank you so much. This means the world to me. Thank you very much.
My family, we was work from daylight to darkness, and when we finished our supper, we was tired. But it didn't matter how tired we was. It was time for bed. Our few minutes together, we would spend all that time talking and telling stories to make us laugh. I would have been back with my family almost a year then. And I still couldn't believe I was sitting at my mama's and papa's knees and holding my sister's hand. Major, he doesn't think I know how to talk much, because most of the time when he tells me to do something, I just stare at him in the eye and then walk away to do what he said. But when I was with my mom and papa and Diana, my tongue never stopped wagging. I knew my mama liked to see me smile. She used to make me laugh and say, "Jude, your teeth is so white they hurts my eyes just to look at them." If she could see them now, she wouldn't see the same amount of teeth as I had when she was here. Mama said when I smiled, my eyes sparkled. And it was a nice treat for the rest of the family. She was patient with me. Sometimes she had to put her hand on my back end when I was acting up too much. But most of the time, she would just shake her head or rub mine and tell me I had to stop doing things to make the missus mad. I tried to do what Mama said, but I guess I didn't make it easy for them. And I is sorry for that now, because it'd be too late to fix it.
And Carol, and congratulations. That was a great reaction. Congratulations. Jude and Diana is also shortlisted for the prestigious Thomas Riddell Atlantic Fiction Award, which at $30,000 is one of the largest literary prizes in the country. Yeah. We recently received the sad news of Thomas Riddell's passing and wish to express our sincere condolences to Dr. Riddell's family and friends. Dr. Riddell was an incredible supporter of local literature, and we are so grateful to him and to his family for all they've done to celebrate the work of Atlantic fiction writers. This award and 7 others, including the Atlantic Legacy Award, will be announced at the Atlantic Book Awards Gala at Paul O'Regan Hall at Halifax Central Library on Thursday, June 9th. You can head to atlanticbookawards.ca to purchase tickets and to find out about the amazing Atlantic Book Award Festival events. Okay, 4 down, 1 to go. We've come to the final award of the evening, and I feel like my hair is growing with this heat, so it's really good timing. Okay, the Evelyn Richardson Nonfiction Award is named for the Governor General's award-winning author of We Keep a Light and is administered by the Writers' Federation of Nova Scotia. Here to present the award is last year's Richardson winner, Tyler LeBlanc. Tyler is a historian, a storyteller, and author based in Lunenburg. His first book, Acadian Driftwood, won both last year's Evelyn Richardson Nonfiction Award and the Democracy 250 Historical Writing Award at the Atlantic Book Awards. So welcome, Tyler.
Thank you, Lindsay. I'm not so short. The nominees for the 2022 Evelyn Richardson Nonfiction Award are Stephen Kimber for Alexa, Changing the Face of Canadian Politics, published by Goose Editions. Susan MacLeod for Dying for Attention, a graphic memoir of nursing home care, published by Conundrum Press. And Donna Morrissey for Pluck, a memoir of a Newfoundland childhood and the raucous, terrible, amazing journey to becoming a novelist, published by Penguin Random House Canada. And I just want to say it's a pleasure for me to get to give out this award. One of the nominees is a former professor, one's a former colleague, and one I got to share a wonderful weekend in at the Cabot Trail Writers Festival with. So good luck to all of you. And here's what the jury said about these 3 excellent books. In Alexa, Stephen Kimber grabs hold of his artist's brush and paints a striking portrait of a woman who, with fire in her spirit, blazed a path on the political stage. Each brushstroke gives the reader more insight into what motivated her and fueled her desire to shape the political narrative. Stories woven through first-hand accounts, extensive interviews, and meticulous research are intriguing and at times difficult, humorous, and deeply personal. With carefully crafted imagery and detailed accounts of her life, Stephen Kimber peeled back the layers and gave readers a unique access to Alexa as he reconstructed this remarkable journey of a legend. His work is not only incredibly timely, but it speaks loudly to the social, cultural, political, and evolutionary landscape of what was and is. Well done, Stephen. Susan MacLeod's debut graphic memoir is a searing examination of institutional and familial failures, detailing her nonagenarian mother's 9-year journey through the various stages of home care. Dying for Attention documents the poor communication, confusion, and lack of support available for residents and their families. Confronting the failures of the system at multiple levels, MacLeod writes from the unique perspective of a former PR person for the province, who churned out messages of optimism even as elder care was gutted by subsequent governments, and she watched her own mother suffer and her family fray. These experiences are supplemented by generous research and thoughtful suggestions for how to fix the broken system. Drawn in a crisp, straightforward style and told in an accessible voice, Dying for Attention weaves complex strands into a compelling narrative and a stirring call to action. And finally, this is what the jury had to say for Donna Morrissey's book. It's easy to run out of superlatives when describing Donna Morrissey's memoir, Pluck. Suffice to say, this book is both captivating in content and brilliantly written. Morrissey, a proven storyteller, has taken the elements of crafting great novels into the realm of nonfiction. Pluck is full of riveting scenes, engaging dialogue, and intense moments of conflict and resolution, all balanced with the fresh and surprising metaphors and great dollops of humor. Readers will come away knowing what it was like to grow up in a Newfoundland outport in the 1950s and 60s, the challenges of leaving home, and the complicated affair of losing and eventually finding oneself. Now more than ever, the world needs stories that come from the heart, and Morrissey does this in spades. This memoir is inspirational without being preachy, and admirably honest without being maudlin. Pluck taps into our warts and all humanity with elegance and grace. Bravo. And the winner of the 2022 Evelyn Richardson Nonfiction Award is Stephen Kimber.
One of the things about being old, the hearing aid catch on the mask. But I put it back in. Thank you very much. Thank you all. As someone who has been on both sides of the podium, including tonight, I just want to say what an honor it is to be nominated with Susan and Donna. That's an amazing feat for me. I really appreciate your being there as well. I guess I want to thank Alexa and her family for agreeing to share this story and for letting me take it wherever it took me. There was never an obligation that this was supposed to be a particular kind of book. It was the book that I found. And of course it did say all those nice things, but there was a lot of other things that were part of the book as well, part of her. I want to say thank you to Goose Lane for agreeing to take this project on and for doing such a wonderful job with it. It is no accident that this book is also nominated for the Atlantic Book Award for the best published book, whatever that is the title. It's going to be announced on Thursday, but it's because they not only took care of the words. They found a great editor for me, but they also did a great job in designing the book and putting it together. And so I want to say thank you to them. And finally, let me just say thank you to my wife, who continues to put up with me after all these years. Thank you.
If you were to employ conventional political metrics, it would be simple enough to stick an asterisk at the end of Alexa Ann Shaw MacDonough's name and discreetly move on to other, more significant figures in Canadian political history. After all, she was never a premier or a prime minister. Although she led both the federal and provincial New Democratic parties, electorally she led them almost exactly nowhere. But a bald recitation of unwinning numbers misses much of what is most significant about Alexa MacDonough and her nearly 30-year career in Canadian politics. Her most important, in fact, contribution to Canadian political life has not been her electoral successes, so much as her seminal role in changing the face of Canadian politics for the better. Women. In the process, she transcended both her party affiliation and the bias against her gender to become known among Canadians simply as Alexa. No last name needed, a beloved, respected, and significant player in Canadian life. MacDonough deserves much more credit than she has been given for the fact that the then newly minted Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, could respond to a reporter's question about why he decided to appoint Canada's first ever gender-balanced cabinet with an almost flippant, because it's 2015. It became 2015 in no small measure because of Alexa MacDonough. And yet, that is not the entire story either. There are many, often contradictory, sometimes confounding Alexa MacDonoughs. Start with all those elitist stereotypes, beginning with the silver spoon. They are all factually true, but she was also, by upbringing and inclination, acutely aware of and genuinely committed to changing the social inequities that bestowed untold advantages on her, while handing less fortunate others rock-filled backpacks and mountains to climb. She came of age more the dutiful daughter of the 50s than the rebellious child of the 60s. But during the 70s, she underwent a metamorphic transformation from the young bride who dreamed of nothing more than becoming Mrs. Peter J. E. MacDonough to the ambitious woman, a steadfast and vocal champion of all manner of feminist causes. As a political leader, she could be a driven, demanding, Sharpie-wielding boss, but also an understanding, generous friend, sometimes with the same person in the same moment.
Thank you, Gary. And Stephen, the award you were trying to say was the APMA Best Atlantic Published Book Award. These awards have very long names. Congratulations. We did it. That's it. No, don't clap yet. I still have 2 pages to go. A huge congratulations to all of this year's nominees for the 2022 Nova Scotia Book Awards, and congratulations again to the winners. I hope that you will all stay for a reception. And if any of the nominated books were on your reading list, there is a book table right over there. So now is the time to head over. It is provided by the King's Co-op Bookstore, which has a great Twitter feed, by the way. And you can even get it signed by the author. So tonight is the night to get those books. Proceeds from book sales tonight will go to the Nonprofit Society for the Nova Scotia Book Awards. And if you so wish, you can also make a donation to the Society at the book table. So before I let you flood that table and enjoy a drink or two, I have a few thank yous to get through. The Society for the Nova Scotia Book Awards recognizes the support of the province of Nova Scotia. We are pleased to work in partnership with the Department of Communities, Culture, Tourism, and Heritage to develop and promote our cultural resources for all Nova Scotians. We're also very grateful to Support for Culture and the Universities of King's College for their sponsorship. Thanks also to King's Co-op Bookstore. The more than enough food table over there was provided by Sobeys Panavista Drive. And thank you to O'Regan's for their support. What the winners are getting, these are right here, really beautiful fused glass souvenir awards. And they were made by Heather Elmswood and Mary Ann Ward. Thanks to Tanya Harrison, who is right here running our slideshow, and Janet's Flowers of Dartmouth for the floral centerpieces. So there's one for each of tonight's winners to take home with them, so make sure to scoop those up before someone else. They're really pretty. A big thank you to the organizing committee. They are Tanya Harrison, Janice McKay, Paul McKay, Joan McMullen, Sheila Savage, Marilyn Smulders, and Marianne Ward. If you are here, I'm not going to embarrass you, but just give a wave if you are here. Putting together an inaugural event and building it from the ground up is no easy feat, and I know how much work these individuals have put in, so thank you so much. And thanks again to the presenters and to our readers. That was amazing. Terilyn Taylor and Gary Williams. Many thanks as well to Raymond Sewell, thank you so much, and Mayor Savage, who may have ducked out on us. Okay. And our two ASL interpreters, Corinna Burris and Sydney Pakosh. And thanks to the live stream team from the University of King's College. Be sure to check out the rest of the events for the Atlantic Book Awards Festival, which are detailed in the festival guides, which I see some of you have received, and it's also on the Atlantic Book Awards website. Thank you so much for coming and joining us virtually. Colin, we look forward to all attending your wedding on Saturday, and have a wonderful evening. Good night, everybody.